Hi everyone, I'm Jalisa Gilmore from the New York City Environmental Justice Alliance, and I'm here with my co-presenter, Leslie Velasquez from El Puente. Thank you for joining us for our presentation, Empowering Community-Based Organizations to Improve Air Quality in New York City's Environmental Justice Communities. The New York City Environmental Justice Alliance is a citywide coalition of grassroots organizations from the city's most environmentally overburdened communities. NEJA was founded in 1991 by community-based organizations from low-income communities and communities of color. They all come together to address common environmental justice issues that arise in multiple communities and work to advocate for more equitable policy at the city and state level.
El Puente is a community-based organization founded in 1982. It was initially founded as a response to severe gun violence in Williamsburg during the 1980s. El Puente has now expanded to serve Bushwick and Williamsburg with 6 community centers, including 2 in NYCHA houses, MS 50 El Puente Community School, and El Puente Academy High School. We also have a center in Puerto Rico. Our mission is to inspire and nurture leaders for peace and justice. We do this with holistic after-school programming for young people and their families, focused on the arts, activism, and education. El Puente has a long history of community organizing and was a founding member of the New York City Environmental Justice Alliance.
In New York City, low-income communities and communities of color often experience disproportionate impacts of environmental hazards. This is primarily because of environmental racism, policies and practices that intentionally or unintentionally disadvantage individuals, groups, or communities because of their race and/or class by resulting in a disproportionate amount of environmental hazards. In New York City, these environmental hazards include waste transfer stations, bus depots, highways, power plants, wastewater treatment plants, and other industrial infrastructure. One important example of environmental justice and air quality has to do with New York City's garbage. In our city, low-income communities and communities of color are more likely to live right alongside heavy manufacturing zones where waste facilities are sited. NEJA and our members have been a part of the fight for a fair waste system for decades. As this map shows, the vast majority of these noxious transfer facilities and their associated polluting truck traffic are located in communities of color, and just 3 neighborhoods in New York City receive over 75% of the city's commercial waste. Thanks to decades of grassroots EJ organizing, New York City has finally opened a marine transfer station in Manhattan, the first operating waste facility in the borough for decades, which help increases equity across the boroughs. Our alliance achieved this through a combination of research and political advocacy. Using low-cost air monitoring to demonstrate these environmental burdens have been an important tool for NEJA and our members. Community Air Mapping Project for Environmental Justice, or CAMP EJ, is a grassroots, community-led participatory research project born out of the shared concern from our members about air pollution in their neighborhoods. CAMP EJ focuses on empowering communities to address air quality issues due to some of the sources I described previously, and raise awareness around the resulting higher rates of negative health outcomes linked to PM 2.5 pollution, including asthma, heart disease, and cancer. In addition to awareness, better understanding of what the air quality is like in environmental justice communities, we wanted to capture the localized emissions in the community and identify potential hotspots that government monitors weren't capturing. Lastly, CAMP EJ engages youth and communities to collect and interpret data. Ultimately, for CAMP EJ, the data is really about advocacy. It's critical that we direct the energy and understanding of local EJ issues to developing more just policies around the more equitable siting of polluting infrastructure. As with any of the work that NEJA does, it's led by our members in the community. NEJA's role in CAMP EJ was to coordinate and support air quality monitoring in environmental justice communities. CAMP EJ primarily focused on working with our members El Puente and BMC in North and Central Brooklyn, and the Point CDC and YMPJ in the South Bronx. We also worked with other members in Brooklyn, the Bronx, and Manhattan to set up stationary monitors. From the summer of 2018 to fall 2019, we measured PM 2.5 through mobile and stationary monitoring and collected about 170 hours of data from the Bronx and Brooklyn. We use the AirBeam 2, which is a portable palm-sized air quality monitor. The AirBeam measures PM 2.5 levels and allows communities to collect and visualize the air quality data in real time with the AirCasting website, an open source platform for sharing environmental data. We held workshops alongside our members to discuss environmental justice, air pollution, and health in our communities, identify and map out potential sources, and train youth and community members on how to use AirBeam's and AirCasting platform. Nija worked with our members to develop resources, materials for air quality monitoring. This included predetermined routes for monitoring, surveys, fact sheets, and presentations for workshops. We also worked with the members throughout Camp EJ to support the ongoing monitoring, helping with any needs that arose. As I mentioned earlier, a key component of Camp EJ is also around advocacy. Data is a powerful tool, and we will work with our members to use what we are learning from the data to advocate for improved environmental policy in EJ neighborhoods, as well as releasing a report this summer on the outcomes of Camp EJ and ongoing policy needs in New York City. Ultimately, Camp EJ was led by our members in their communities, and each organization implemented air quality monitoring differently. I'm going to turn it over to Leslie so that she can discuss El Puente's long history of air quality advocacy and how the work is being done in their community.
Before I get into our air quality work, I would like to provide more context and background on environmental issues local to North Brooklyn and why air quality is such a critical issue to the El Puente community. North Brooklyn, specifically South Williamsburg and Bushwick, the communities we serve, are perfect examples of what Jalisa described earlier. That is, low-income communities of color that are disproportionately exposed to environmental hazards. Historically, these communities were sacrifice zones, areas that have been subject to environmental pollution and economic disinvestment with the siting of several locally unwanted land uses. Our communities face air pollution from a number of sources. One is the Brooklyn-Queens Expressway, a major thoroughfare for tens of thousands of vehicles and trucks daily. Numerous waste transfer sites and industrial sites, which in addition to emitting pollutants themselves, bring pollution through regular heavy truck traffic, as well as peaker power plant and a bus depot. Our communities also critically lack green space and green infrastructure, which can help to mitigate air pollution. As you might expect, this pollution has serious consequences for public health. According to the Department of Health, asthma hospitalization rates for children and adults in Williamsburg and Bushwick are double those of Brooklyn and New York City. El Puente has always understood these risks and been active in fighting for environmental justice. We've been working to address poor air quality since the 90s through community-led studies on indoor air pollution and asthma. In 2016, El Puente continued our work on air quality with the Urban Lab for Open Spaces, a citizen science-based study of air quality in Williamsburg parks, which are mostly concentrated around the Brooklyn-Queens Expressway. The study found peak PM levels several times higher than recommended levels, motivating El Puente to conduct a longer, more in-depth study of neighborhood air quality. This would eventually become the Our Air, Nuestro Aire campaign. While air monitoring is the main focus of the Our Air campaign, it is truly a holistic project focused on advocating for equitable community development involving four major components. First, air monitoring. The foundation of the Our Air campaign is youth-led citizen science. Young people from El Puente's after-school program, as well as students from El Puente Academy High School, collected air quality data in South Williamsburg through mobile monitoring. We also partnered with Queens College's Barry Commoner Center to install a network of stationary monitors throughout the neighborhood. Next, mitigation, planning, and policy. For this project, we didn't want to just provide evidence of the problem of poor air quality through citizen science. We also wanted to provide solutions. We partnered with graduate classes from the Pratt Institute and the New School to develop urban design and policy solutions that would improve air quality in our community. We also gathered solutions from our community through workshops and events. Recently, we analyzed all of these ideas and compiled them into a policy platform that we will use, along with our data, to bring attention and action to the issue of poor air quality. Next is grassroots and political organizing. Throughout the course of the project, we have done outreach and organizing to inform our community about the poor air quality in our neighborhood and our project. We estimate that we have reached roughly 3,000 people through outreach at parks, schools, senior citizen centers, community gardens, churches, markets, etc. Not only have we organized our community members, we have strategically engaged our partner organizations and elected officials. Now that we have collected data, developed solutions, and informed our community and other stakeholders, the next phase of our project will be focused on using this information to mobilize our community, partners, and electeds and create change. Finally, our organizing is highly focused on the arts. Using the arts for social justice activism is what we call the El Puente model. We believe it is a powerful, transformative tool for the artists as well as the community receiving the art. For our air, this has looked like involving El Puente youth members in creating art for the project, including our logo, as well as 2 plays written by our group of professional artists with youth members. These plays educate the audience about the issue of air pollution and involve audience participation to develop solutions. Now I'm going to get more into the details of the air monitoring component of the Our Air project. In addition to working as part of the Camp EJ project, our work was supported by funding from the New York State Department of Environmental Conservation and the New York City Department of Health, which allowed us to expand the scope of our work. Through the Department of Health, we were connected to Queens College's Barry Commoner Center. As Jalisa mentioned, we measured PM 2.5 with low-cost portable sensors called air beams, which connected to phones, and the online AirCasting platform for monitoring. Also, as previously mentioned, we collected data through mobile monitoring, done by El Puente youth members and students in 5 routes in South Williamsburg, stopping for 15 minutes in areas of interest like parks and schools. Youth also counted trucks during these stops. These routes were designed in partnership with Queens College Commoner Center. Data was collected 2 days a week, twice each day in the afternoons and evenings, during spring and fall 2019, for about an hour each session. The stationary monitoring was also done in partnership with Queens College, who installed the monitors in various locations across South Williamsburg, also based on areas of interest for us, like schools and parks. These stationary monitors ran continuously from spring 2019 to fall 2019. As for challenges, we originally intended to do air monitoring during summer 2019. However, extreme heat proved to be a major obstacle. Many days had heat advisories, and even on days without heat advisories, youth members reported feeling faint and exhausted from being in the heat for an hour. For this reason, we could only do a few sessions of air monitoring during the summer. Another challenge was technical difficulties with the air beam and the phones used. There was many glitches that could not be anticipated. For example, the original phones we used had GPS that was too low quality to be accurate. The airbeam technology is continually evolving to address these glitches. Now on to takeaways. Citizen science is of critical importance. Data is a powerful tool for change, but scientific and academic partners often have little context for understanding the communities that they are researching and do not know how to make data accessible, both in terms of how it is disseminated and how comprehensible it is. This is why citizen science and participatory action research is so critical. Community members should be the ones studying their own lived experience, and further, community members and organizations are best equipped to use this data for advocacy. Next steps. After this month, we will enter phase 2 of our project. Our data is being analyzed by Queens College, Camp EJ partners, and researchers from MIT that we were introduced to through our partners at Pratt. The full analysis is still underway. After we receive it, we must work with partners to make this analysis digestible and understandable for our community. Phase 2 of our project will be focused on taking all that we have learned in terms of the data in our policy platform and engaging and mobilizing our community, partners, and elected leaders to implement these changes. In our policy platform, we have also strived to make the connections between COVID-19, which has disproportionately impacted Black and Brown communities, and poor air quality. We also must connect environmental racism and air quality to the current momentum of the Black Lives Matter movement. These struggles are deeply interrelated, with inequality at the root of each. To achieve change, we must work together, building stronger movements that can help us all. Thank you for joining us and inviting us to present. We look forward to answering your questions.